Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Discord we got Josh.
Hey.
Big week. At least for fans of Drew McIntyre. I'm just going to start with it. We thought maybe Bron Breakker was going to win a title at, start of the year on a weekly show, and we were just a little bit off. It was Drew McIntyre. We said never count him out. He can win a title match at any time. Proved us right.
Well, to be fair, I think I gave him more of a shot than you did.
That is
last
very
week.
true.
Because last week I gave him a 50% chance. I don't know what it was, but there was just something that just made me think that Drew had a better than average shot to win it. And what didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. But it did continue the fact that nobody beats Cody Rhodes cleanly. Unless your name is Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. Pretty much. You don't beat Cody Rhodes cleanly. I think he's lost like 5 matches since he's returned.
That's not a lot. I didn't, it's one of those things that you always want to see, but you're not 100% sure you're gonna see in terms of Drew McIntyre winning, especially since everything seemed to be lining up towards whether they wanted to do Rhodes Reigns, whether they wanted to at least have Rhodes carry it through to WrestleMania. Changed up those plans. We got Drew McIntyre holding the title now, as you say, not exactly the way we expected. I don't think anyone was sitting here saying that Jacob Fatu was going to return and attack both men. It was definitely not in my prediction sheet for sure.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what they're going to do with Jacob Fatu there. Because, weren't they trying to make him a face? And him attacking and costing Cody the match doesn't exactly say face. But you could also have them say they wanted to go after McIntyre, which is also something, I guess, because he did attack both. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Drew McIntyre can also say something that no other wrestler at this point can say. Even if it was only for a couple of minutes, he has held both versions of the world titles, of the current versions. He's the only one who can say that.
It is fair enough, and I don't know what they're going to do with Fatu, but I think, if anything, this is a sign at least that he's going to be near the top of the card, right? Coming out, attacking McIntyre, attacking Rhodes. That does cement you or place you fairly firmly near that upper mid-card, if not main event position, which is great given what we were seeing prior to his time away or his injury. We wanted to see from Fatu stepping up that card, maybe jumped entirely over the mid-card championship and is just setting his sights way further up than had expected.
Yeah, there's a fairly decent chance that a certain briefcase might come into his possession at the end of the year. Although this year it's, in September now?
Yeah, something around there.
But I think you could make an argument that he could be in that position to win that match for next year. But yeah, I think this decision also confirms, at least in my mind, that there's an 80% chance that whoever wins the Rumble chases CM Punk.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I don't see it being Randy Orton now. Now that Cody Rhodes doesn't have the championship anymore, I don't see Randy winning.
Well, interesting we mentioned Randy here, because we do know Drew McIntyre's first challenger is starting to line up. We got 4 qualifying matches this week on SmackDown. Those 4 winners heading into Saturday night's main event in a fatal 4-way, with the winner of that taking on Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. These qualifier matches, we have Randy Orton versus The Miz, we have Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams, we have Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa, and we have Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov. One of those 8 men will be that first challenger for Drew.
I think it'll be Sami. Because I think there's still some juice there. And it seems to be the easiest to me. and you would have a very pro Sammy crowd because it's basically a second home to him. So it would be very easy to book a fan favorite versus your newly minted champion.
Yeah, I think he's definitely up there in terms of options. When you run down it, Randy Orton always with the shot. The Miz, not really. I wouldn't see Matt Cardona necessarily jumping up this fast. Trick Williams, maybe if they wanted to give him a bit of a showcase, a bit of a splash. Priest, we've seen it a lot. We don't need to see it again. Solo Sikoa, not really in the cards. Sami Zayn, as you say, probably the most likely outcome from this. And Ilya Dragunov, I guess if he beats Sami Zayn again, could potentially be getting a bit of a showcase against Drew. But Orton or Zayn with a Zayn advantage really does, looking at who's in the 8 men in the match or in the tournament, pretty well lined up for a win. I think there's something to note as well that the Saturday night's main event with the Fatal 4-Way is happening, is in Canada, which is another tick for Sami Zayn, as you say. Rumble being in the second hometown, while finals of this tournament being in the hometown.
Yeah, so I just think it'll be Sammy. They're trying to make Sammy like more serious, and I think him challenging and failing to win the world title, I think, will be a step towards that. It's just a matter of how far they want to go with him.
Also on SmackDown, on this half of the show, we'll talk about it. We got some official signing news. We thought it was potentially where they were going to land, but now we know for sure. Jordynne Grace, SmackDown superstar, already getting in the face of Jade Cargill. We're going to get that collision sooner rather than later?
Maybe? But also the fact that Jade Cargill's held the title for like 70 days and hasn't defended it. That's the only thing I remember from it. It's like, oh yeah, Jade Cargill has the championship. A championship she hasn't defended. It just doesn't fit. I don't think it would be a good call to put Grace versus Cargill this early. Just because I don't see her beating Jade Cargill right now.
Mm. Yeah, I think that is the point, right? You look at it, I think it's a big collision between the two of them. Definitely something that I'd like to see, but even if she hasn't defended the championship, I still think she's going to have that new champ buff. We're not going to want to take it off of Jade Cargill, especially if our WrestleMania is Cargill versus Belair, and that's where we're trying to get to. I'd much rather Jordynne Grace just rack up wins around the division, sort of make a name for herself before jumping into a match against Cargill that, as you say, she very likely loses. There is obviously Julia's title floating around as well that she could go after if she really wants to, but I think just establishing her position and her power and her character and getting that all set up and ready to go is probably number one priority for me with Grace.
Yeah, definitely. That's the most important thing right now, is establishing her in front of the main roster crowd, whom outside of the Rumble appearance probably doesn't know her that great. And it could definitely backfire heavily if they put her straight into a match with Jade Cargill and have her lose.
Yeah, just a little bit of time, I guess, to build that luster up and to let everybody know where we sit with her, I think, is the important part. Well, we are roughly halfway through the show, and that means it is time to go into the entrance theme for this week, and it is going to be your brand new WWE Champion. Never count him out of a title match. Never count him out of his entrance theme being played. And you're back for Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. I'm Grady, he's Josh. Jumping over to Raw. I want to talk the women's tag team division. We did say there was a whole lot of teams wanting shots. Obviously, Rhea and Io came out on top with the championship gold, but that doesn't stop all of these teams trying to get to them. And it was Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez that come out on top and are going to be getting that championship opportunity. I thought maybe Liv Morgan going to be heading into the Women's World Championship scene instead, but it looks like Raquel for the Judgment Day is firmly settled there, and she's going to be going after tag gold instead.
Yeah, should be interesting. I think that this is part of like, I think we're in the end game for Judgment Day. I think we're about to see what we've been waiting to see for so long with this group, is the end. And I think it begins with this tag match and continues with a certain other match that we'll talk about in a few minutes. And I think staring down at WrestleMania, I think we're going to have the destruction of Judgment Day.
Yeah, I don't know quite how all of the pieces are going to fall. As I say, this wasn't the configuration that I necessarily expected. I would have expected Liv for the main title and Roxanne and Raquel for the R&R on the tag titles. But yeah, Raquel Rodriguez does keep coming out. I think this is the second week in a row now that she's just assaulted Stephanie Vaquer in her moon boot. Don't know, the legitimacy, or if Vaquer is going to be out for some time, or when this match is going to become official. But the feud is there and it's building, and it does look like the next match will be Stephanie versus Raquel for sure.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, this is the way to do it. I think having Liv just immediately go after Stephanie, I think wouldn't do what we would need for breaking up the group. Because I think it really does need to be a tag team of Liv and Roxanne to have that ignition.
Yeah. As we'll just have to see how all of the bits and bobs start laying out. I will be excited's probably not the right word, but I think it is definitely time for the Judgment Day to fade off. Obviously, JD McDonough off on injury right now. Dominic Mysterio holding a couple of bouts hostage, also on injury. Liv just returning. The girls pretty much carrying the Judgment Day, except for poor old Finn. But I guess I can't really call him poor old Finn. He did cop himself a World Heavyweight Championship match next week.
Yeah, it should be fun watching that. And I don't think that match, I don't think it ends cleanly. And not because of Judgment Day. I think that match has an interference with a suspended superstar.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a path that it could go down. I'm not going to give Finn Balor a Drew McIntyre's chance. If we said never count out Drew McIntyre from winning a championship, he's always believable in title matches. Finn Balor is always a great in-ring talent who will never quite grab the big title again. I don't know. I don't see him grabbing the title here off of CM Punk. If it did happen, it would be very shocking to me, at least. I know it's in Belfast and all, but as you say, there's too many other pieces around. If it isn't the Judgment Day bickering, not like there's any other of the male members that could come in and interfere on their behalf, it will be an absolute crazed animal in Braun Breaker.
I kind of expect them to do the old they bought a ticket angle, so he can be legally at ringside for the match. But yeah, I just this seems to be like, since it is in Belfast, this seems to be a moment to like showcase Finn, give him a world title match, but ultimately, yeah, he is the anti Cody Rhodes, the anti Roman Reigns, the anti Drew McIntyre. Yeah, it's great that he's in the match, but he's not going to win.
You don't call him Pin Balor for nothing. And yeah, the story that they're telling with CM Punk's title reign, with the Vision being involved in it, is still the story. If Finn Balor won the title here, what do? Like, you've just spun off so much in one direction, I think, that if you're looking at the Cody Rhodes stuff, although I expected them to go down a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns path, the pieces weren't there yet. And so pivoting to a Drew McIntyre isn't a, super confusing moment. If we pivoted here to Finn Balor, of all people, I would definitely be confused in terms of where all of the pieces are going to lie. I think if you didn't see Raw, Bron Breakker came on out during a Vision versus Penta and Dragon Lee match and obliterated everybody, and then obliterates Adam Pearce. Was trying to, calm him down and all that, and got himself suspended. So they're definitely, I guess, playing him off as that loose cannon who's mad that he didn't win the title match against CM Punk. And for me, it puts another notch next to him winning that Royal Rumble that he may be. I know it's a bit far, maybe. Oh, it's not too far to suspend him until the Royal Rumble. But I expect him to, if he isn't winning it, have a massive effect on that Royal Rumble match.
Yeah. I also think that this is a way, this whole situation with Braun, I think is a way to give CM Punk his actual main event WrestleMania. Because, yeah, he made some main event at WrestleMania Night 1 last year. But there's something about main eventing Night 2. And I think this is the way of giving him that. Braun will win the Rumble, challenge Punk and Braun will be the main event of Night 2.
Locking it in?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, it's fair. I definitely, for me, that's the most obvious path from where we are now to WrestleMania. Will it be Night 2? I don't know. I'll have to see what the other, 3 matches that potentially have an option to do that are at the moment in terms of thinking, Jade Cargill Belair sounds like a great Night 1-er. Stephanie versus anybody, I wouldn't really put that above CM Punk. And if you were gonna do a Cody Rhodes Roman or a Cody Rhodes Randy, maybe that could take Night 2's main event spot, but a Drew McIntyre match. I don't know if there'll be enough story or enough oomph there to knock them off of that Night 2 spot. So all the stars do happen to align. We just got to see. We get through Royal Rumble, double check that our assumptions or our predictions are correct about who may be heading into those matches, and then we might be able to start piecing everything together. And we're only, a couple weeks away. I think next weekend, Saturday Night Main Event, weekend after Royal Rumble, getting closer and closer to April. We also had one hell of a main event on Raw. It was Gunther, AJ Styles. Gunther keeps retiring people. We thought maybe he'd get a bit of a run with AJ Styles later in the year. They gave it to us right away. Bit of a shifty finish, Gunther tapping out while the ref ain't looking kind of thing. But ultimately, in the record books, it's going to say that Gunther won that match between the two.
Yeah. This instantly elevates AJ Styles back to the main event. Gunther is Gunther. There's nothing that you can do to really hurt him at this point. He is pretty much bulletproof. Him working with AJ elevates AJ. AJ taking him to his limit, and he had to basically cheat to win. Is something I think we'll get another match between them. I do have a kind of bold prediction for WrestleMania that many moons ago would not have seemed possible. But I think the TNA World Championship gets defended at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think it's entirely possible the way at the moment that they've got their working relationship with WWE and specifically with NXT. If it isn't on WrestleMania, I could see it at Stand and Deliver. Either the night before or the same night as Night 1. I don't know the exact ordering for everything this year. But yeah, I do think that TNA title will get a bit of showcase.
I know that TNA is debuting on its new channel on Thursday before this airs. So it'll be and AJ is going to be there. I think there's a strong. The current champion is Frankie Kazarian. Who would say no to an AJ Styles versus Frankie Kazarian match?
Yeah. I think it's a bit interesting. I think TNA is going through a bit of a shuffle right now. As you say, they are premiering on their new channel coming up, but I think they've also lost a few roster members, bit of a rebuild. So we'll see what it all looks like, but yeah, I'm always happy for Kaz to get a showcase. I think quite highly of Kaz personally myself, and AJ Styles, we always say can put on a good match with a broomstick, so it should be good. I'm pretty sure they've probably clashed before many a times. Blanket in my head, but yeah, would definitely be interested in it. I think it will probably be WrestleMania weekend. I would see probably both the TNA World title and the TNA Knockouts title on the line. I just don't know, is TNA going to put on their own show? They're going to combine with Stand and Deliver? They're going to make it onto WrestleMania? It's obviously a big week and a big weekend of wrestling, just to see what, it all shakes out to be. We've also got, on Raw, we're seeing Javon Evans. He's coming out. It was Bravo Americano, but he is claiming wins after wins and getting a bit more of that showcase, and the crowd seem to be getting behind him.
Yeah, Javon Evans is he's Braun Breaker 2 years ago. He's a future world champion. It's just a matter of when and how they get there. He's phenomenally talented, and I think he'll have capture the fans' interest in him. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be, we've got to build him up, and these showcase matches are a great way of doing that.
100%. I look forward to, obviously there's been a whole bunch of NXT call-ups recently. I look forward to seeing them, see how they can get a connection with that main roster audience, see how they can build themselves with the showcases like Javon's getting and Trick Williams had this week as well, and just begin to build their profile and how they will slot into storylines heading into the WrestleMania season. Obviously, we used to get a massive amount of call-ups after WrestleMania, sort of a epilogue, or you finish the season of storylines at WrestleMania, then you bring up the NXT call-ups. We're getting them 4 months out, and that does give the opportunity for them to all feed into their first WrestleManias. For some of them, it probably does mean Battle Royals, where there is only so many spots on the card, but it'll be interesting to see how they do end up placing into those WrestleMania plans for sure. And just last week, we were, or at least I've been pretty vocal about the Women's United States Championship, how it has just rotated between the same 4 women in terms of who challenges for it, who wins it, and we just keep repeating the same sort of combinations. They heard. They 100% were listening to the show last week. I got word. They called me up. They told me, they said, Grady, you are so damn right, and we're going to give you Julia versus Alexa Bliss instead.
Yeah, that was fun. I want to see Alexa Bliss rebuilt as a singles player for the world titles, but this was a fun little romp.
Yeah, I think that's all it was, right? Obviously, it was get Julia a bit of a experience against Alexa Bliss, put on a match, maybe trick you a little bit into thinking the title could change hands, but it was to build up Bliss and Jax and Lash Legend and probably Charlotte, and continue to have these women's tag teams beefing with each other. It really does feel like if the stars do align, we could get a women's tag team elimination chamber match, just with so many faces around the place. We've said for a few times that women's tag title has been a bit weak in the scene. Well, they're making sure that it isn't. Right now, it feels like almost every woman is paired up. There's a few loose cannons who are not, and they're challenging for the singles championships, and then everybody else is kind of in this amorphous blob of women's tag teams. And who actually comes out of it, and when that division settles down, because there's always ebbs and flows, who's still going to be left there will be interesting to see. Alrighty, is there anything else you want to quickly throw in before we run out of time?
It looks like we're going to have a ladder match for the vacant NXT championship.
I'll bang on with that.
Yeah, it's going to be apparently a 6-man ladder match. I don't know if the participants have been announced, but it looks like, at the very least, Ricky Saints, Joe Hendry, Canoe Carver? I don't know who that is, but apparently, maybe, possibly, being involved in this match?
Yeah, I can let you know, that was someone who just came up from Evolve. Ava announcing a few call-ups at the start of the show and, announcing that ladder match. And I think Keanu actually dominated the ring and ended up standing tall, probably why a lot of people think he'll end up himself in that match. I don't know if they're going to do qualifiers, etc. I can only half pay attention to NXT before we record. NXT ends like 1 minute before we start recording. But yeah, too right on that ladder match. It'll be interesting to see who comes out of it. We've also got Tony D'Angelo marking his stamp as well. So a few shake-ups in that NXT men's division for sure. But that is all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D up, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling R&D up, or our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling R&D up. And we'll catch you next week.